brought a material witness here into town so he could tell us his story. Unless he's in witness protection.
And should I take off my sunglasses?
No, okay.
Or is it better to be?
Yeah.
Because I killed a guy.
That's why I brought you out here today to tell us this story.
I'm here to tell you a story today. And this is the story of Magic Marvin. And I have been a professional magician my whole life, so I've met many very magical people, but no one quite like Magic Marvin. So I first met Marvin. I was going to a local magic club meeting, and it was in a church. And I didn't know where in the church. I was coming from the parking lot, and I was looking around the church to see where, if there was a sign. There weren't any signs that said magician meeting this way. So finally I see a guy, and he's walking towards me, and he weighs about 250, 300 pounds. And he's got a goatee, a beard, goatee, a mustache. And he's got a t-shirt on and rainbow suspenders and a Star Trek badge. And I say to myself, I'll bet this guy knows where the magic meeting is. And he did, of course. And this is how I met Magic Marvin. I said, well, where's the magic meeting? He says, right, follow me right this way. I said, I told him my name, which I won't say now. Be trouble. And other than what I've just told you about Magic Marvin, he seemed normal to me. And other than his appearance. And it turned out he was just a normal magician. They're lots of fun to be with. A great little club of magicians. They do magic tricks and compare notes and talk about the hobby. And so, but I didn't really hang with Magic Marvin. I didn't see him again for years and years until I opened a magic shop. And Magic Marvin walked in one day with a big catalog of magic tricks that he built. And they were all very overbuilt, like wooden things with like real heavy wood. They were heavy like trick boxes that just weighed so much that you would need a rental truck and a trailer to get your show somewhere. It'd take you days. These things were like really heavy and badly painted boxes that weren't very mysterious, so I didn't buy any, and he never bought anything in my shop either, and he left. And then I didn't see him again for years, and I had closed my shop, and I was doing shows. These shows were in another magic shop, and Magic Marvin was hanging out in this magic shop, driving everybody crazy in the magic shop. But they didn't want to ask him to leave, even though he was very obnoxious in most people's opinion. One day I walked in, and Magic Marvin was saying how, to everybody in the magic shop, he was saying how terrible the owner of the magic shop was, who wasn't there, of course, at the time. And Magic Marvin continued to badmouth this guy and how awful a businessman he was and how he's doing everything he could to ruin this business that Magic Marvin liked to sit in a chair over in the corner. So then the next week I went into my show, and when I came out, the guy that owned the shop or worked in the shop said to me, "Are you going to be buying this shop?" And I said, "No, why would you ask me that?" And he said, "Magic Marvin is telling everybody that you're going to buy this shop. That you're, in fact, right now the owner of the shop." So I said, "Well, that's not true. But why do you put up with Magic Marvin? I never see him buy anything here, and he's obviously full of it." And the next time I came, Magic Marvin was sitting in his chair giving me the stink eye when I came in. And so I said to the kid running the shop, I said, "Would you do me a favor and go in the theater and put some water in the air conditioner for me?" So he left the room. He left me and Magic Marvin alone in the room. So I turned to Magic Marvin and I said, Magic Marvin, you're full of shit. And Magic Marvin said, well, what do you mean? And I said, well, Marvin, you're telling everyone that the guy that owns this shop doesn't know what he's doing. And Magic Marvin immediately says, yeah, that's right, he doesn't know what he's doing. And I say, well, Magic Marvin, that might be true or may not be true, but you're also telling people that I am buying this shop, and that's definitely bullshit. And I think you should stop. And furthermore, I think you should leave right now. I think you should leave the shop. And Magic Marvin said, no, I've been here for 3 years. I'm not leaving. So I walked over to Magic Marvin into his personal space, and I said, Magic Marvin, I have noticed you here, but I have also noticed that you've never spent a nickel. You're just taking up real estate. You got to go. And he said, no, I'm not leaving. And I said, yes, you're leaving. And then I noticed his hand coming up in a fist in an attempt to perhaps hit me. And before Magic Marvin could get the fuck you out of his mouth, I started hitting him. And I hit him 3 times. I hit him just 3 right hand straight shots I'd strung together. Hit him in the temple, hit him in the heart, hit him low in the belly. And he got up and he said, I'm a bleeder! And of course I immediately stopped. So then he said to the shop guy, do I have to leave? And the shop manager said, well, if I were you, I would. And so Magic Marvin said, I'll be back. Next thing I heard, 3 months later, he drops over dead.
What about his last magic show?
I think his heart was broken in his last magic show, because it probably was his best show ever. And what happened was he said to the shop owner and guy that was running it that he was going to audition for America's Got Talent, and that he was setting up a video situation for himself where he could film a little sample to send in. So he had gotten a situation where he lived, I don't know if it's a rest home or something like that. And so there were some people in the audience, and the guy from the magic shop brought his children to see the show, because he I don't know why, he still liked Magic Marvin. And so this was his account of this. I wasn't there to see the show, but the magic show guy said to me, magic shop guy said to me, this was the worst magic show he'd ever seen, and that he blew every single trick he did. And it started with, he made a bird appear, a dove appear, and then he didn't know what to do with it. He didn't know where to put it. So he had a magic table, and he set it on the magic table and continued on with his act. And as he did that, the bird started to defecate over the table. And the audience could see it, but Magic Marvin couldn't see it. So he was getting a lot of good laughs. And he starts off, the next trick is he's going to stab a card that's been picked in the audience with a sword. What could go wrong? What could go wrong? And so he throws kid picks a card, he throws the cards up, he stabs the card, ta-da! There's a card at the tip of the sword. And Dave goes to rip it off, and it doesn't come off. It comes off with the big piece of elastic that has snapped that card onto the tip of this. So now he's exposing the tricks as well as blowing the tricks. And he continues every trick he blows till he gets to, he's going to do the cups and balls on the table, and he looks, turns, and there's the table all full of bird shit. And he says, oh no, the bird's crapped all over my table. Of course, he's the last one to know. So then he says, okay, I'm going to do my finale. I need an assistant from the audience. And he gets this young boy to come up and lay down on the table. And he says, I'm going to cut this kid in half. and he puts this stock over the kid's stomach, and he gets this power saw, this power jigsaw out, and from the back of the room, the guy who's come from the magic store that brought his kids leaps to his feet in an attempt to stop what is sure to be something that's going to be on the news the next day. Magician kills boy in show, saws in half, spectator. And as he leaps up to stop Magic Marvin flips the switch on the saw and nothing happens. It doesn't go on. And he looks around and he goes, oh, I forgot to plug it in. Oh no, I forgot the extension cord. Oh well. And the audience stands up. It's like a standing ovation because they could see what was happening, what was going to happen here in the next few moments. What they were going to witness was something they would never forget. They would never be able to erase. They were saved from this. And so then the magic show guy, the shop guy, went up to Magic Marvin. He said, Magic Marvin, that's the worst goddamn show I've ever seen. And he was just hard. And then he died. That's what killed him. Right after that. Wasn't me. So this is an addendum to the story because I have felt very bad about this story. Actually, I feel bad about hitting Magic Marvin. For many reasons. One of the reasons is I shouldn't have hit him. I really shouldn't have. I should have slapped him. Because when you hit somebody, you can break your hand. And that's bad. I could have stepped back out of the way. There's lots of things I could have done. I didn't have to punch him. And so I was sorry, and I tell everybody that when I tell them the story, I tell them how sorry I am. But when I do, I'm finding that everyone I meet that knew Magic Marvin has a story themselves. And they say to me, oh, I'm glad you hit him. I'm so glad that you did that. And so it has helped the guilt of the situation. So I have a student who's a young lady who I'm teaching magic, and when I told her this story, she started laughing, and she said, oh, I'm so glad you hit him. Wait till you hear my story. She said, that guy fell in love with me, and I told him that I was not interested, but he would not take no for an answer. And he was crushed, and he was angry, and he would show up at the magic meeting, and when I would perform, he would jump up and yell, you're a goddamn whore! And the other magicians would have to haul him out of the church where we have the meeting because he would get so crazy. And I would go out of the meeting, and there he would be next to my truck with a shovel waiting for me. And I was by myself. And she said, I jumped in my truck and I started chasing his ass around the parking lot. And the police came. And they were going to arrest me. And I said, that guy was waiting for me, Marvin, Magic Marvin, a.k.a. Marvin, was waiting for me with a shovel, and I jumped in my truck and chased him around, and the police said to the lady, we have witnesses that saw you chasing him around the parking lot with the shovel. So here in Albuquerque, we just call that a draw. We let you go, we let him go. Because that, no harm, no foul. And so that was her story of Magic Marvin. Made me feel better.
Have a snack.
Yes, now on to the buffet. Really quiet out here today. Usually we hear those trucks going.